Hey guys, Bam here, bringing you my Stam Sorc PvP build for Clockwork City patch. This is my first go at Stam Sorc PvP, my first real attempt. Before I didn't know much about the Stam Sorc, but I've done a little bit of tinkering around with it, trying to see if I can get it to be effective without having my main spammable be Dizzy Swing. I definitely feel that I've come up with something that's decent, has good damage, has good healing, is tanky. And if you haven't seen the videos prior to this, I've already thrown out a couple of hype videos. I've been in BGs, open world, 1vx situations, duels, and I have not changed anything based upon what I'm doing. The build has not been altered in any way, shape, or form, whether I go into BGs, whether I'm dueling, or open world. So this, to me, is just an all-around decent setup, and you should be able to do most PvP content, if not all of it, without making any changes to the build whatsoever. Getting right into it. Slottables I use, Dubious Camera Throne for the food. Essence of Immovability, I love this for PvP. It's absolutely great, especially when you have Stam and Mag DKs out there spamming roots, people spamming snares, and just knockdown CCs. It's awesome. So it definitely helps out a lot. I use the one that does immune to knockbacks, health, and stamina. This is probably my favorite one because there are some times, even though you have a full bar of stamina, you can't get off the ground from an end cap. This is OS logic. The other one that I use, again, does the immune to disabling effects, and this one does savagery instead of health and also gives you the stamina. I played around with both. I don't necessarily like one over the other, but I do think the health utility and the health recovery aspect of this potion in particular is better, especially when paired with the monster set that I am currently using. So getting into that, let's go to the build. Right now I'm using the Perfected Greatsword. I like a Greatsword on the back bar because it is just my buff bar. I apply one dot and I'm mainly on that bar for execute purposes. So I find that this is a better suit over any other type of weapon, the mace, the axe, so on. I also run the double damage health poison. I don't use the resource poisons. I can't stand them. I really can't stand poisons in general, but this does add a additional effect to the build. Since this build is a very dot heavy build, this really does accommodate it quite well. 1709 damage and 1109 poison damage over the specified times. On my main bar for damage, dual wield, I am running the Masters, the two-piece Masters. Ideally, guys, this disclaimer here, this is not the perfected setup. I'm still working towards it, but I didn't want to delay the build video. So I will explain the preferred pieces and or traits as I go through the build that you want to have. Right here or here, it doesn't matter. Instead of a dagger and an axe, you would want a sword and an axe for that increased damage plus the chance to proc that bleed. Some people argue and say that two swords would be better, increasing your damage. Very well could be. I haven't tested it. I haven't even gotten a one-handed sword from DSA yet, so I'm just at this point running what I have. Big takeaways, my opinion, sword and axe for the bleed and damage, and you want Nirnhone main hand, infused offhand. On your main hand, the disease damage enchant, and on the offhand, the one that gives you the weapon damage, the berserker enchant. My two-piece is the Troll King. This is absolutely wonderful when combined with a potion, when combined with a race that has health recovery bonuses. I've seen my health recovery shoot over 3k. I don't really feel that you need much more than that. I mean, it's a constant vigor tick basically anyway. On top of vigor, on top of Dark Deal, on top of Rally, the healing from this is just absolutely phenomenal. So two-piece Troll King. The traits, or not, I'm sorry, not the traits, the enchants, up to you. I only have a Tri-Effect on here because it was already on there. I didn't see a reason to change it. I'm not lacking in one resource pool over the other, so I just left it alone. My main 5-piece is going to be the 7th Legion. There's no surprise here. Anybody running the Stam Sorc and PvP heavy armor is most likely using this set. The healing is just absolutely wonderful. And that lovely 5-piece bonus, where you have a 10% chance to gain weapon damage and heal for a specified amount, that will proc your Troll King. So even if you can't get to a heal, and your 7th Legion procs, you have that Troll King proc. So do keep that in mind. It's kind of like a, I don't want to say a fail-safe, but it's definitely nice to have when you can't access your heals for whatever reason. Ideally, guys, you want to go 7 impen. I don't have 7 impen because I don't have the shards to trait change this, but I will. Eventually, I have compensated for that in the CP tree, and I'll show you what I have in the CP tree now, and what it will look like once I get these other 2 changed to impen to create that that extra resistance. And 3-piece agility. Now, there is another thing that I have toyed around with, and I'll throw it out in this video, and if you guys want to try it, feel free. It may actually work better than the agility. If you find yourself not necessarily needing Troll King, you feel you're tanky enough, you feel your healing is manageable without Troll King, you can take and replace this with a 3-piece Sheer Venom on the jewelry, so you get the max stat and the weapon damage exactly like agility does, just lesser amount. And come up here and replace either your head or your shoulders of Sheer Venom and your 2H of Sheer Venom. Now, the reason why I say that is the 2H of Sheer Venom, the 5-piece on this only works on an execute. Well, the only execute we're running right now is Reverse Slice. So you don't need it on your front bar, so having it on head and shoulders I feel would be taking away something from the build, whether it be max stat or an additional weapon damage that you can obtain. So put the Sheer Venom on the jewelry, 1 piece on your head or shoulders, and your 2H. And that'll give you access to an additional dot on your back bar while you're in execute, while somebody's near death, whether they're able to just slightly out heal your damage or shield through your damage or whatever. This will help top that off and hopefully get you the kill that you're attempting to get at that time. Nothing will change if you were to use this setup. You'll still have all robust jewelry. You'll still be all enchanted with weapon damage. There's no need to go recovery or reduce cost here. 1500 stamina recovery is absolutely manageable, even in a 1vx situation. So definitely give this a try if you guys think an additional dot would benefit the build. And then for the 1-piece, either head or shoulders, whichever one that you don't use Sheer Venom for, I would do something like a Molag Kana, a Valadreth, or even a Damahos to create that extra max stat. The other way you can do that is you can put Sheer Venom on head and shoulders, and you can still maintain the 2H of your choice, whether it be Masters, Asylum, or Maelstrom. Some people like the Maelstrom 2H axe for the bleed damage for a gap closer. I don't run a gap closer. So that one was irrelevant for me. And again, I use the 2H because I'm mainly on there for execute, so that extra 2.5% damage was what I wanted to see for execute phase. Actually, before, I want to make sure that I didn't just say that wrong. It was 2% or 5% damage. Sorry, misspoke. 5% damage. So that covers that. Go into the skills real quick. Not quite leveled up all the way yet, but we do have Carve, Reverse Slice, Hurricane, Rally, Bound Armaments, and Dawnbreaker Smiting. I do want Rally over Forward Momentum because this beautiful skill right here is bashable, and if you're fighting somebody who's competent and understands what mechanic they're looking at and has a quick enough reflex to bash you out of it, you don't get a heal. GG. Blood Craze, again, for that passive healing. Deadly Cloak, Dark Deal, Resolving Vigor, Bound Armaments, and Dawnbreaker Smiting. I do double bar Dawnbreaker because I haven't really found anything else that I like. Nothing that really does the damage or covers the AoE. I have messed around with Dawnbreaker on my dual wield bar and Berserker Rage on my front bar. It's been great, but I feel the knockdown from Dawnbreaker is too good. That Dawnbreaker hit to knockdown to execute while they're still on the ground, that's awesome. So you don't get that from Berserker Rage. You don't get that from Lacerate, anything like that. So I do like having Dawnbreaker on my 2H bar. And I haven't really found an ultimate that I liked better than Dawnbreaker to put on my dual wield bar. I'm still kind of messing around with that. You want all your passives that are applicable, all your 2H passives, all your dual wield passives. I took the passives for medium armor that I felt necessary. Eventually, I will put the 3 points into this, giving me the crit, and also I will be. I probably won't put points into this because I don't do a lot of sneaking, but you'll want the 3 points into dexterity too. All your heavy armor passives, your fighter's guild passives, your undaunted metal, your support, your assault, and obviously your class skills. Not class, I'm sorry, race skills. Champion points. Go over these real quick. You can pause if you need to look at them longer. 51 into Warlord, 43 into Siphoner, 10 in Tenacity, 75 Mooncalf, and the remaining 51 into Tumbling. Nothing in the first tree. I don't feel it necessary. 51 into Master at Arms, 24 Shattering Blows, 51 Thaumaturge, 56 Mighty, 35 Piercing, and 13 in Precise Strikes. I just put a little bit into here for the healing aspect. Our weapon critical is very low, so putting points into this is kind of a waste. So I focus those points elsewhere. 66 Ironclad, 24 Resistant, 66 Thick Skin, 37 and 37 Hardy Alley Defender, and nothing in this tree. Now, that will change when I get my other 2 pieces of Impen. Resistant will go down to 7. It'll be like 212 or something like that, just over 200. The 17 points left over will go into Quick Recovery, giving you, I believe, 10% healing received increased. I absolutely love the fact that I'll be able to do that because it'll just buff my vigor, it'll buff the ticks on my rally, it'll buff the ticks on my blood craze. It will essentially make you more tanky. But other than that, that is the CP. And real quick, what I'll do is I'll go down to my target dummy. We're not going down there for DPS damage and numbers purposes, but I'll just kind of show you guys how I set up the damage and how I try to maximize the dots. Majority of the time when I'm running around, I'll run around in this form so I can hit lightning form, hurricane rather, and run through different things. So I'm always keeping Blade Cloak up because AoEs, but I'll go in and I'll immediately heavy attack to carve, bar swap, throw down all of this, make sure I keep my healing up, and by that time, usually a heavy attack to Executioner, or Reverse Slice rather, would do the trick. Always making sure that you keep this up at all times. So, running through, maintain your buffs, maintain your damage reduction, but you usually want to start out with your 2H. So running in, 2H, get those dots down, get that dot down, just like that, boom. Keeping yours up. Your dots start to drop again. So that's basically how I do it. It's in line of, not even line of sight, just being evasive. You'd just be surprised that when you're fighting somebody and you're running around and they're trying to run after you as you're kiting them around in little ways, they're more focused on trying to hit you and they forget to heal. And they die just to your dots. I mean, hurricane ticks are crazy. I was in a duel the other day. A guy sent me a message after the duel. And he said, your hurricane ticked on me for just under 10k. Because he just stood in it and didn't think about the healing aspect of it or trying to get out of it. And they're more focused on trying to kill me. So, I mean, I believe he said it was 94 or 9,500 on the death recap. So these things hit hard. If you find a better way to allocate the champion points, then by all means, throw it down there in the comments. Let the viewers know what you came up with, how it's better. Definitely always looking to improve on builds that I throw out here or come up with or whatever the case may be. So thanks again for watching, guys. If you have any questions, drop them in the box below. Definitely entertain all questions, comments, and thanks again for watching, and stay tuned for future videos. I got more coming. I'll be in Battlegrounds because, you know, PvP is too fucking zergy for anybody anymore. But stay tuned. Take care.